It all began with a paint can. I'd finally gotten the green light for a minor backyard remodel. A new pergola, upgraded stonework, and a fresh coat of desert tan on the back wall. Nothing extravagant. I'd hired a small crew recommended by a buddy at the sheriff's department. Polite, punctual, and frankly way too efficient for a typical construction team. But I didn't dig too deep. I just wanted the work done. 3 days in, trouble found me. The sharp click of heels on pavement pierced the afternoon quiet. Peering through the kitchen window, I saw her, Karen Holbrook, HOA secretary, self-appointed neighborhood watchdog, and the kind of woman who lodged a noise complaint if a leaf blower ran more than 10 minutes. She sashayed past the crew with a clipboard in hand, sunglasses low on her nose, and an expression like she'd smelled something foul. I stepped outside. "Afternoon, Karen." Her eyes narrowed. "Afternoon, Nick." She spat my name like it tasted sour. "You didn't clear this construction with the HOA?" "I did," I said, pointing toward the approval email taped to the window. Signed, "Off by Mark 2 weeks ago." She barely glanced at it. "That's for repainting, not for harboring undocumented workers." My stomach sank. "Excuse me?" She gestured at the crew. "None of them speak English. They're not from here. I know what's going on. I could call ICE." I bit my cheek. "Karen, you don't know anything about them." "Oh, I know enough." She snapped. "This is a family neighborhood. We don't need illegal labor walking our streets." Before I could respond, she stormed off. I turned back to the crew. Juan, the foreman, raised an eyebrow. "You want us to stop?" "No," I said, shaking my head. "Keep working. She's just barking." He chuckled. "Got it, boss." I stood there for a moment, sun beating down, heart racing. I'd lived here 8 years, paid my dues, gone to the HOA meetings, and now this. It wasn't just prejudice. It was about power. Karen loved feeling in control. She didn't care who my workers were, just that she didn't approve. But if she actually called ICE, she was in for the shock of her life. Juan and his team weren't just workers. They were undercover federal agents. The next morning, I was sipping coffee when it happened. Bang! 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 3 sharp knocks on the door. Not polite, not tentative. Demanding. I opened it to find Karen, arms crossed, lips pressed into a thin line. Beside her, a man in a windbreaker with bold letters across the chest. ICE. I blinked. "Can I help you?" Karen spoke first. "I told you I'd handle it." "This neighborhood doesn't need lawbreakers roaming around." The ICE agent gave a curt nod. "I received a complaint regarding undocumented laborers at this address. I need to speak with the foreman." Juan stepped onto the driveway, wiping, his hands on a rag. "You called ICE?" he asked her directly. No panic, just calm curiosity. "Just amusement," Karen sneered. "Don't act surprised. You're not fooling anyone." I turned to the agent. "Do you have a warrant?" He opened his mouth, but Juan held up a hand. "It's okay. Let me handle this." He flipped open his belt badge. "Special Agent Juan Alvarez, Homeland Security Investigations." Karen's jaw dropped so fast I thought it might hit the concrete dot. The ICE agent blinked. "Wait, Alvarez? You're the guy who briefed our Los Angeles office last month?" Juan nodded. "Same guy. And unless you have an official raid or a court order, I suggest you turn around." The agent shifted uneasily. I didn't realize. We were responding to a community tip." Karen's face burned red. He's lying. He's not real. This is fraud." Juan stepped forward, calm as ever. "Would you like me to call my supervisor, ma'am, or maybe the local police to report a false claim? Wasting federal resources on a petty neighborhood vendetta isn't a joke?" Karen's mouth opened, then closed. She glanced between me, Juan, and the ICE agent, who now looked distinctly uncomfortable. I didn't mean," she muttered. "You thought wrong," I said firmly. Karen spun on her heel and marched off. The ICE agent gave a half apology, tipped his head, and followed her down the walkway. Juan smirked at me. She'll think twice before dialing any more hotlines. I exhaled, adrenaline fading. Thanks, man. Juan patted my shoulder. We're not just building pergolas, Nick. Sometimes we're watching bigger things, but this was personal. That night I barely slept. I couldn't stop replaying it. Karen's smug face twisting into panic. The sheer audacity it took for her to call ICE on people she didn't even know. And the irony. She had actually summoned a federal agency to confront other federal agents. The next morning, Juan and his crew were already at work. You'd never guess what had gone down the day before. Calm, focused, as if nothing could shake them. "Morning, boss," Juan said, sliding safety glasses over his eyes. "You all good?" I asked. "We're fine, but you should know something," he said, voice low. "Karen's not the only one watching." I raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" He motioned me closer. "We weren't here for the pergola. Not really. That was just the cover." I froze, waiting. Juan continued. "There's been suspicious financial activity here. Money funneling through shell landscaping companies. Big federal contracts awarded to firms that don't exist." I blinked. "Are you saying Karen?" "She's not the head of it," he said, "but she's involved, possibly laundering money through fake maintenance jobs." A chill ran through me. The HOA always obsessed over micromanagement, but this was something else entirely. "And your team?" I asked. "Homeland, FBI, IRS, a mixed unit. We've been monitoring this neighborhood for 6 months. We needed a reason to be on the ground without tipping anyone off." I rubbed my temples. And here I was. Just a guy wanting a pergola. Juan gave a lopsided grin. "You were the lucky homeowner with a clean record and a big enough backyard." I laughed, disbelief outweighing humor. Just then, another neighbor walked by. Mr. Weller, mid-60s, retired Air Force. He slowed when he saw us. "Hey, Nick. Just wanted to say what happened yesterday. That woman's out of control." Juan kept working. I nodded. "Yeah, you heard about it." He chuckled. "Heard? She's on the HOA message board ranting about fake agents and some deep state conspiracy." I sighed. Of course, after Weller walked on, Juan looked up. "That's actually good. The more noise she makes, the more it justifies a deeper investigation." "You're really going after her?" I asked. "We're going after whoever is behind the fraud. If that includes Karen, so be it." I nodded, the weight of it settling in. This wasn't about me anymore. This was a full-blown federal operation, and Karen had walked right into it. Or maybe she wasn't clueless at all. Maybe that ICE call was more than a power trip. Maybe she was trying to spook the agents before they uncovered something bigger. 3 days later, the unmarked vans arrived. Just past 7 a.m., 3 dark SUVs slid into the neighborhood. Engines low, windows tinted. They moved like predators, silent and precise. I was sipping coffee on the porch when Juan approached, dressed differently this time. No tool belt, no gloves, just a windbreaker reading "Federal Agent" in clean block letters. "This is it?" I asked quietly. He nodded. "We're executing a search warrant. Wire fraud, racketeering, tax evasion. You might want to stay back." My stomach churned. "Karen really at the center of it?" "She's not the top dog," he said, "but she's the thread that unravels the whole mess." I watched as the team split. One went to the HOA office, the others to Karen's house at the end of the cul-de-sac, the one with overtrimmed roses and a dozen surveillance cameras. Then came the knock. "Bam! Bam! Bam! Federal agents, open the door!" It opened slowly. Karen appeared, still in a silk robe, hair in curlers. Her mouth fell open as she saw Juan leading the charge. "You..." "Again?" she hissed. "This is harassment. You're..." "Not even..." Juan calmly held up a thick folder. "We have evidence tying you to 3 shell companies, all funded through inflated HOA maintenance contracts." "You can't prove..." We don't need to prove anything here. That's what court is for. Karen looked around as if considering escape. Too late. Two agents stepped forward and placed her in cuffs. This is outrageous. She screamed. This is a setup. That pergola job was a trap. I couldn't resist. I stepped forward. No, Karen. It was a backyard remodel. You turned it into a federal investigation. Her eyes went wild. You're in on this. You think this makes you a hero. You'll regret this. Juan shook his head. You made a mistake weaponizing ICE against people you didn't understand. Now you're not just guilty of racism. You're guilty of fraud. As they escorted her into the SUV, neighbors began gathering. Phones out, whispers turning to chatter. HOA royalty dethroned in broad daylight. A few minutes later, Juan returned. She's facing serious charges. And you? He smiled. You've got the cleanest patio in the state. I chuckled. Thanks, but I think I'm done with HOA politics. Juan nodded. Fair. But if anything shady happens again, you know who to call. As the vans rolled away, I looked around the quiet, manicured street. For the first time in years, it actually felt like home. If you think Karen finally got what she deserved, hit that like button. Ever dealt with an HOA nightmare or someone flexing fake authority? Tell your story in the comments. I read them all. And don't forget to subscribe for more real justice stories where karma sometimes shows up with a badge.